Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Smashpad Shrapnel. First day of E3 and already crazy crap is happening, so we thought we'd bring you up to speed on a couple of the events that are transpiring. With me is Patrick Mifflin, my usual partner in crime. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, it's been a crazy night. Even before the Bethesda show got started, news started rolling in, and that news cycle kind of perpetuated over the course of the night with some pretty crazy news and rumors. I'm not sure how to label them, honestly.
Yeah,
but they're definitely newsworthy, so, I mean, that's why we're here.
Yeah. So Nintendo got things started with by announcing Earthbound Beginnings and just kind of throwing it on the eShop like right then and there. So
Yeah, just
melting down their servers in the process.
which had already been bludgeoned earlier from the Smash announcements that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this is a secret stress test for Nintendo Network.
If it is, it's not doing too well.
They sure know how to carry it out, though.
Yeah.
Earthbound Beginnings, basically Mother 1. This is a game we never thought we were going to see over here, outside of the form of the occasional fan translation or what have you. And to see Nintendo just providing it off the cuff like this really sets the tone for a big E3. Yesterday on the Day Zero update, I kind of put out the Hail Mary of Star Fox 2 being a here and now download, but maybe I wasn't shooting high enough. This tells me anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean, and this is an official localization. It's not, they didn't just take a fan translation and throw that up there. They had people working on this, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, all signs kind of point to Mother 3 being next.
Yeah.
If this is what's on the table, I mean, some outlets are already talking about how this is a very good sign for the franchise as a whole, and it's hard to say that this might not lead to Mother 4 somewhere down the road. Mm-hmm. Lucas has gained popularity as a Smash character, so if there wasn't already that demand for Mother 3, bringing him back in Smash 4 is kind of it may be a telling sign. And oh man.
So did they what was the pricing on this?
I did not see that yet. The last time I checked, it didn't have they hadn't announced the price. It was to be released later that day.
Yeah. Well, it is a NES/Famicom.
It's an NES game. I would guess it's $5.99, but I can't see.
They could charge $10 and people wouldn't blink.
That's what they did for Earthbound.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that as things develop. And speaking of developing, Yu Suzuki apparently developing Shenmue III.
Or so he'd have us believe. Shot off a tweet yesterday that found at E3 and just a random picture of a forklift. It's kind of hard to misinterpret that. It also says he's going to be at E3, and Sega recently has had a bit of a habit of passing their intellectual properties back to their creators.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as they're not really doing anything with it.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder what other properties he might have gotten back.
I don't think they'd part with Virtua Fighter. Outrun is possible.
Yeah,
and that would be interesting.
Hang On might be another one. Afterburners. Give that back to him.
Well, that's probably a story for another day, considering the time and resources that Shenmue development always demands.
Yeah.
It's definitely encouraging to see, and Sega, for their part, they have nothing to lose really, because whenever they want to make a game in the vein of Shenmue, they crank out another Yakuza, which has been very good to them. Yeah. So it's a win-win situation, and hopefully this wasn't just a big troll, and we don't want Yu Suzuki to come face to face with the wrath of scorned fans.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of have to follow through now with.
Yeah, he's on the hook for it. It's kind of like Square Enix with. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. There's a parking lot like right behind my apartment.
It's okay.
It's kind of like a similar situation with Square Enix going into E3 and how they teased their entire E3 lineup with the Chrono Trigger song.
Yeah. Which brings us nicely to our last story.
Oh, man.
Okay. So Silicon Era is reporting that the Final Fantasy VII Remake is apparently gonna happen and is already in development.
This explains why we haven't really heard anything about the port of the PC version pretty much since it was announced.
Yeah.
Radio silence is always meaningful with stuff like that. And if they've suddenly turned around and decided, hey, we're going to make this remake that everyone's been calling for since the 20th anniversary is coming up, it makes a lot of sense that they would just kind of quiet down about the planned PC port.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the PC port is pretty much a known quantity. I mean, you can't really change it too much.
Yeah.
So there's not really a whole heck of a lot to say, as the development of that goes on. So, yeah. I thought I was kind of joking around yesterday on the show when I said Final Fantasy VII Remake confirmed, but maybe I wasn't off base.
Yeah, we and stay tuned because we had a lot of random speculation like that.
Yeah, so we'll see how much of that turns out to be true.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes because I don't know. I think at the end of the day, the people who were really butthurt about the PS3 port never happening will ultimately be happier that they saved it for PS4, if this is in fact what it is.
Yeah.
Because the level of detail that was going on in that PS3 demo, I'm not sure that was I'm not sure the PS3 would have liked processing that in a full-scale game.
Yeah, it just wasn't going to happen, trust me.
So with the PS4 as a starting point, that all suddenly looks a lot more feasible. And, it seems to fly in the face of Square Enix's messaging that that they weren't going to make this remake until they made a game that surpassed Final Fantasy VII, which in my opinion they have. It's called Final Fantasy IX. But, from a success perspective or from a critical perspective, either they are that confident in Final Fantasy 15, which I hope that's not what they're doing this for, or they want to put it up against Final Fantasy 15 and maybe see which kind of game people gravitate toward the most, because it seems like no matter how much Square Enix talks about going hard in the direction of heavy JRPGs, it seems like they're just a little bit apprehensive still to make that strict, hardcore JRPG on a console as a platform. They're always putting them on handhelds or putting them on mobile, and I think this is what it's going to take for them to realize that a game like that will sell on console in 2015.
Yeah. Or 2016. I mean, we still we don't even have a confirmation that this is even happening.
Yeah.
But,
Silicon Era is saying it would be for the 20th anniversary, so if we're using the Japanese release as a
baseline.
As a baseline, then we're probably, hopefully, looking at 2016.
Yeah.
But if this is what it takes to get to get Square Enix, producing the stuff, and hopefully that's not what this is, because I'm hoping there's a lot of that kind of stuff to be announced at their E3 conference, because that's a big source of the hype for from that hype video that they put out the other day. One thing's for sure: if this is what it is, then we know what the mind blown portion of that hype video was about.
Yeah. So,
yeah, the heads explode.
Heads explode, minds blown. Yeah, that's
people's heads will explode when they hear about Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
So we may have just decoded one of those 6 secrets of E3 a day in advance of their press conference.
Yeah. And if this is what they're really doing, hey, more power to them. I mean, this benefits everybody. So.
Yeah,
they'll make a crap ton of money, and the fans who finally want that Final Fantasy VII remake will get it. So,
and I've wanted them not to make it just because it would make those fans insufferable. But looking at it in the context that I just talked about, this is something I can really get behind.
Yeah,
I would rather spend $60 supporting traditional hardcore JRPGs than spend $16 just on a random toss out.
Yeah. So.
And E3 hasn't even started yet.
It hasn't even started
yet.
My
God.
Microsoft is about an hour away, and already we got all this crap bubbling up to the surface.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. The Day Zero update special edition should be coming up tonight. We'll probably all be fried by that point, but that should make the show more enjoyable. Who knows? So, with that, I'm Filippo Ginolfo.
I'm Patrick Mifflin.
See you later.